Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the As Always podcast, episode 160. I'm one of your hosts, James, and I'm joined as always by Tyler.
As always, how's it going, my friend?
It's going well. How you doing?
I'm doing well, happy to be here. Nice brisk Saturday morning, 7 a.m, ready to go. So that's exciting, love that. Got a bit of a headache. Got a coffee though. Got a McDonald's coffee. Just drove down the road to get that because I don't have any milk in the house. Well, I actually don't have any coffee in the house. That's really the problem.
So, do you have milk?
I don't have milk. I don't have milk.
And you don't have coffee.
I never make coffee at home. I always buy it. But I drink long blacks, but I just like a dash of milk in it. So like if I ever buy milk, I waste it so hard because I'll make a few coffees at home and I use the smallest amount of milk and then I just end up throwing most of it away anyway. So I'm like, I just feel like it's a waste to even buy milk. Because what else do I use milk for? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you use milk for? I feel like my milk just goes. I don't know what I use it on, but I do use it.
Yeah, but I would use it if I was at home working like you were, in the sense of I drink way more coffees at home and tea.
But
at home.
Don't drink coffee or tea.
Do you drink
really.
tea?
No.
What?
Only if I usually have.
Do you
tea
bake?
Is there
any baking that goes on in the house? Because I feel like that's another thing milk is used for.
Baking? Sometimes, but not so regularly. Cereal. Like Elva has a lot of cereal. So maybe that's where the milk goes.
Yeah, I don't drink. I don't eat cereal.
Don't drink cereal.
It's just it's just sugar. I mean, I'd say 99% of cereals are just sugar. And when I look back at my childhood, and Big Sugar was out there trying to kill kids, and that we know now. But to think that like these cereals that like even as a kid I thought that was a healthy cereal, it's fucking not.
No,
it's not.
It's not.
You know. It's ridiculous how fucking full of sugar these cereals are. And I look back now, and I only recently was like Googling cereals. I was having this conversation at work, and we were talking about cereal, and I was like, fuck, I used to love this particular cereal called Fruity Bites. And it was like an oat-based cereal with like this fruity center, like a raspberry center. And like at the time, I was like, oh, this is healthy because it's fruit and oats, right? But it's fucking just sugar, dude, and carbs. It's carbs and sugar and just full cream milk. It's just, it's just not on. You can't eat that now. I barely eat breakfast as it is, let alone you're pumping that much sugar into me in the morning. It's just not going to happen. I'll be fucked for the day.
At all. I never did as a kid. I don't remember the last time I ate breakfast, to be honest with you.
I'll eat breakfast on a weekend occasionally, but it'll be like, to have some nice eggs on toast or something like that. Or, I'm out somewhere for breakfast. That's the only time. Like when I'm working, I just pump coffee, into the earth. And then I only if I know, like, the only time I'll eat in the morning now is if I know I've got, like, multiple training sessions that day. Like, if I'm training in the morning before work and then I got, like, 2 sessions at night, I'll be like, I need to eat more that day. So I'll, like, buy a fucking ham, cheese, tomato croissant, smash that, and then have a big lunch,
That makes sense.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it personally. But again, I think I stopped eating breakfast because I felt lied to by a big cereal. It's a conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable. You felt betrayed.
And they've been trying to cause heart problems in kids for generations now.
Bad guys.
But like, I went down a cereal aisle recently, and I did notice that nothing's changed. Like, it's all the same cereals. Do you think it's because they're losing money, or do you think it's because if it ain't broken, don't fix it? Like, do you think people still eat cereal?
I think
I don't know anyone.
Eat cereal, yeah.
I don't know anyone that still eats cereal.
Everyone I know eats cereal.
I find that so weird. But then again, I feel like, and this is maybe a generalization, and maybe it's just because the people I'm surrounded by in my life in Australia don't eat it and are quite like active and healthy. But I feel like in a lot of countries, and I feel like the UK is one of them, not a lot of knowledge of good eating and health. I just personally
people
feel
are just
that way.
Dying left, right, centre here. That's what we do best. people aren't going out for runs; they're staying in while it rains.
See, yeah, I thought about this because I thought about I'm going over to the US, I'm going over to the UK later this year, and I was thinking about, like, I'll be training when I'm over there, and I'll obviously go for runs and I'll hit up some MMA gyms and stuff. But what I was thinking was, I'm like, is that a normal thing people do? Because we have a guy from, at the moment, like a fighter from Spain who's training at our gym at the moment, and great fucking fighter. He's awesome. But he was telling me, he was like, dude, I love it here. Like, I went for a run one morning, like, he's like at 5:30. He's like, in Spain, everyone drinks, so no one's up at that time. Like, I'll go for runs in the morning and people will either be asleep, and if anyone's up, they're drunk from the night before. And he goes, like, I'm in Australia. I go out for a run at 5:30 in the morning, and there's so many people out running, walking their dogs, riding their bike. Like, he's like, what the? He's like, I don't get it. I'm like, dude, this is the country full of just, especially in Brizzy, but major cities, but this is an active country. This is a country that is obsessed with sport always. Like, super active culture. And don't get me wrong, I feel like it's a very juxtaposing culture where if they're not active, they're fucking obese. Like, we have plenty of obese people here. We really do. But I feel like you're either obese or you're very fit. There's not a lot of in-between people in Australia. But definitely, like, something I like about it is we definitely have an active culture. Like, yesterday it's Good Friday. I was up 7 a.m, went for a big bike ride in the city with one of my mates. And just so many people out, at least walking, but active. And I just love it. And that was when I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think that's normal everywhere else.
Maybe it's because of the weather. Maybe people just love being out.
Oh,
and
it's
doing
definitely
stuff
the weather. It's definitely the weather. It's beautiful.
Whereas here it's
all the time.
disgusting. Like, if you want to go out, like, you're walking through mud, it's no good. You don't. It's
No, it's definitely a climate. It has to be attributed to it. But that's with anywhere, right? Like, here it's just, especially Brisbane, doesn't get that cold in the winter. I'll still go to the beach in winter. That's how, like, nice and warm it is. Like, I'll still go to the beach because the sun's out. It's beautiful weather. It's warm enough. Like, the ocean will be cool, but it's the beach, so it's fucking awesome. Yeah, people definitely are more active because of the climate, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be outside. You want to be outside. You don't want to be stuck inside.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Whereas, yeah, I get it. If it's just abysmally cold and you go out and it's, you feel it hurting your bones. That's how cold it is. And the grass on a field is just like sludge from it being frozen over overnight. And yeah, I do understand that too. Definitely a factor. So half the people are out here running, the other half are eating cereal. That's what's happening here in Australia. And I do like to think that cereal's the core reason for obesity. Just in the world in general. I would think so.
Yeah,
I think we know that.
We don't like cereal here at As Always.
No, we don't. But do you know what we do like it, As Always?
What do we like?
We like the people that make the show happen. The producers over at
we
patreon.com/as always. So if you like what you're listening to here and you want to see more, head over to patreon.com/as always. For just $1 a month, you get exclusive access to the best podcast on the internet. That's the Clubhouse Podcast. There's over 100 and nearly 40 episodes for you to stream. It's brilliant. I've had some good stories the last couple of weeks. We've had some great topics the last couple of weeks. So go check it out right now. Simply $1 a month. Or if you do a year subscription, it's 10% off. Get a 10% discount. So potentially could do that. Thanks everyone for their support. It means the absolute world to us. But we've got to thank our producers at the $25 tier and above. They make this show happen. We literally wouldn't be here without them. So thank you to Ollie the Superior, Ollie, Damien the Not So Orange Gnome, Ferentino, Flash Paradox, Franco, Jesper Olsen, King Richard III, Olbrick, Ryan Hafer, Viridian, and Ballsack47. Thanks to Sweet Ventures Lads for helping power this podcast. James, moving on from cereal, I feel like it's just a natural conversation progression. The big news that we have to sit here and discuss today, the big news that I've been dying to talk about, we brushed over it on Clubhouse because like we can't talk about this on this fucking show. Of course, I can't believe we're about to talk about this, James. I can't believe we're about to talk about this. The Thor Love and Thunder trailer is still not out. And
It's not.
What's so funny?
Well, it's not. It's not. This is a true fact.
Yeah, it's not out. And I'm concerned. And when I said, like, I can't believe we're talking about this, is that I can't believe it's not out yet.
No, man. I'm with you on that.
I don't know what Kevin Feige's thinking. I don't know what they're doing.
No, me neither.
I was just wondering.
We need to sort this out, I think.
I was just wondering what your... What, you want to
know my thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do want to know your thoughts on this. I can't even spit it out because I'm so angry about it.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm angry too.
Yeah.
Furious.
I love Thor.
It's ruined my whole fucking week.
I love Thor.
I know you do.
I just want the trailer.
I know, man. I know what it's like. We'll be through it.
I just want the trailer. I'm crying because we're not getting the trailer. Ooh. Oh god. Oh god. Yeah. No, I'm upset. So there's no Thor: Love and Thunder trailer. What are your thoughts there? What's going on? When do you think we're getting it? The movie comes out in July, James.
Does it really?
It comes out in July. Yeah.
We're in April now.
We're in. It's less than 3 months away. It's less than 3 months away.
I think we're gonna get it when Doctor Strange's out.
So, do you think it's somehow related? Because I feel like they're totally unrelated films.
No, I don't think it's. I think they're just gonna use it to like promote. I think they're gonna start using their movies to promote the next movie. Like how when Spider-Man, like one of the post-credit scenes for Spider-Man was Doctor Strange. I feel they'll do.
But that made sense because he was in the movie and the subject matter was a part of this.
Yeah,
movie.
but I think they're gonna do it anyway. I just think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna like keep leapfrogging from movie to movie and use it to advertise the next one.
But they did the Miss Marvel trailer like right before Moon Knight started.
Yeah, but the TV shows don't count.
Okay,
That's a different marketing strategy entirely.
Well, I understand it's a different marketing strategy entirely, but I feel like I don't understand why they're actually that different.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I'm just saying I think that's what they're doing. I just think I don't think they're going to advertise Thor until Doctor Strange is out.
That's really fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, really I could be completely wrong. In which case, it releases any time between now and Doctor Strange, but there's no like clear date. It could be any day. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I'm upset. I'm upset by it.
Yeah, you should be. You should be hurt. You should feel. No.
I feel betrayed. I feel hurt.
As betrayed by the Thor: Love and Thunder trailer not being out as you are by Serial.
Well, I mean, I dealt with that years ago, my betrayal of Serial, but certainly I was angry about Serial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understandable. I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
This is completely unrelated, but I've just been scrolling through the SoundCloud for Four Pillars podcast, and they've all got similar views, except for episode 16 that has nearly 4,000 listens. Yeah. And why?
On SoundCloud.
Yeah.
What was the episode about?
George listens to what? Gamescom happened, No Way Home trailer, and more.
Hang on, let me have a look.
It's just a normal episode. It's completely normal. It's got way more listens than our Valhalla spoiler cast.
Dude, what's crazy? I was just on the Dynamite show on the SoundCloud, on just the SoundCloud for it, and most of them have like a few hundred listens, which is like, oh, that's kind of cool for the Dynamite show. But like the John Mayer episode has like nearly like it has 666 SoundCloud listens. I'm like, they let people love John Mayer. I mean, it makes sense on SoundCloud that like something with John Mayer in the title because it is a music platform. So I guess that sort of makes sense. That is funny.
Why does this have so many listens? I have no idea. It's just a normal episode.
That is because you can sort of tell like with the As Always one, they have pretty consistent views. On SoundCloud, they're getting each one's getting 1,000 listens, like at least on SoundCloud, and then you have like Maddie's on. We get 3,000 listens. Random Subjects can blow up. Our No Way Home spoiler cast had 3,000 listens. Random Side Quest 2,000 listens. The Hogwarts Legacy controversy that had 2,000. That was a huge listener. That last episode of As Always podcast had a massive viewership on SoundCloud. It's just interesting. I never check SoundCloud. I never add value it, but I'm like, man, we get just as much listens as anywhere else.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a look now because I want to see what Four Pillars podcast was doing, and they're all about the same. Some of them are the normal amount is anywhere between 400 to 800 listens is around where they're sitting.
Not a lot compared to As Always.
No, but then there's this one episode 16, that's on 3,700, and I just can't figure out why.
That is. Let me have a look.
I have no clue. Episode 1, the Valhalla spoiler cast, that's on 939 listens. So
I thought there was some with... Even our more recent one got a lot of listens, though.
On Four Pillars?
Yeah. When you compare it to just the one before.
Oh, yeah, it did, yeah.
Just, you know what I mean, in terms of recency. Yeah, there's not a lot of people that listen on SoundCloud to... I mean, it's a newer show, granted. Yeah, that is weird. Just episode 16, George listens to what?
Yeah, just a
No Way Home, bro. I think it's No Way Home.
That many, though? Really?
Oh, yeah, I do. I think... Well, once it catches a bit of traction, it's just sort of can spiral from there, surely.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Do people just go onto SoundCloud and listen to random podcasts? Surely it's all our own audience, right? It's not like random people just coming across it.
No, well, it's definitely not our own audience that's made up 4,000 listeners on SoundCloud randomly.
No, that's not. Yeah.
That can't be our listeners.
But who's browsing SoundCloud?
I don't know, mate.
Do the Spotify listens also add to the SoundCloud listens or not?
I don't
directly through.
I don't know. The answer to that question.
Can you even check the SoundCloud, the Spotify stats?
I've tried. I know you can't with Apple. Oh, you couldn't in Apple Podcasts when we started doing it, but that was also 5, 6. It's almost 8 years ago.
It gave you a vague comparison, didn't it? It was like a graph that would show you a vague thing.
Super vague. Yeah, super vague. It might. I don't think it does. But it's not.
I don't know. I've never been able to log into it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, there's that interesting.
We love
tangent.
analytics. We love.
We
listens.
do.
We love views.
It has been a while since we've done those.
It is. Oh man, I just caught myself looking at my camera in the OBS, and I was like, man, I look terrible in the morning. I look like fucking you wake up and I'm like, oh man, my face is so bloated. I just feel like shit.
Yeah, well, it did be like that.
Yeah,
at least you're relatable. People look at you. They're like, oh, I look like that in the morning as well. Me and Tyler are the same.
You just look puffy and gross.
I feel that's how I look. That's how I look every time we record a podcast because it's always the morning for me, and I just roll out of bed.
I feel hungover, and I'm not drinking at the moment, so I'm like, I don't know why that is. It's probably just absolute lack of sleep. Anyway, doesn't matter. No one gives a shit, Tyler. Let's talk about the real topics. Let's let's actually get in to the big topic of today. That obviously the listeners are here for. It's in the title. Very excited about it. Elon Musk has put in a bid to buy Twitter. James, what are your thoughts, feelings there?
Somebody asked me this on stream today.
Yeah, did they? Yeah.
I was about to form a take, and then I realised that I don't care.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and
you should care. You should care. Twitter could become a much better space, I believe, with Elon Musk at the helm.
Really?
A dude that doesn't give a fuck. I don't know. I mean, it could become infinitely worse and more full of trouble. It might become like Reddit. Twitter's just becomes Reddit. But I feel like...
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
It's already bad enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Do you think Elon himself can improve Twitter.com, though? Is there a potential for it?
Yeah, I do think so. I think so.
What do you think they need to change?
Well, I mean, I don't like these new, the spaces and shit they're trying to, push. It feels like you know when they threw out like Twitter stories, whatever they're called, fleets.
Oh yeah, fleets. I miss them.
That lasted a whole part of 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was abysmal.
Yeah. Now they've got communities.
Yes, which I feel like is just like even more on the nose of like, let's create your own Twitter echo chamber. I think the whole algorithm thing of like things you like or people, like I'll like something once now on Twitter and then now that's all I fucking see. I'm like, it was just one thing I liked about it. And now it's all I fucking see on my feed. It's just that same person, that same topic. I'm like, can we just like not? You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I also really don't like that the homepage is by default organized into like top tweets rather than latest tweets. Like I want my timeline to be a timeline.
Yes.
Not to be.
Well, it's not a timeline.
This one got likes.
Yeah.
It's
you can't really call it a timeline, right? That's how.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. It's not really a timeline, is it? If it's just top tweets.
No, it's not a timeline at all. But I think no matter how Twitter changes, I'm at this point going to use it exactly the same, which is completely blocking out everyone I don't care about because it's the worst website on the planet.
See, I still love it. I really love Twitter.
I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And I hate people having direct access to me and showing up in my mentions and like just being bitches. I fucking hate it. Just go away.
Yeah. Like they need to touch grass, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. They do. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I spend all my time now on MMA Twitter. That's where my Twitter is only MMA now. And the MMA Twitter is hilarious because they're all very much like the video game community, sort of retarded.
It's like any community.
Yeah, but there's just something funnier about the MMA community because I just feel like they're a bit more clever. Like, because they all know they're trolls. They all know they're fucking idiots, and they just really lean into it, and it makes it way more entertaining. Way more entertaining. Whereas, like, people, like the video game community are retarded, and they don't know they're retarded.
That's
like,
true.
They think they're really smart and clever, and it's just a bit embarrassing.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Whereas I thoroughly enjoy MMA Twitter because 50% of it are trolls that know the trolls. The other 50% are full of just the worst human beings all time. But they're just, you sort of just laugh at them because they're that bad of humans.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sort of people that like violence and watch it for violence. And it's like, that's probably not why you should. Yeah. You know? But anyway.
Oh,
that's Twitter. Yeah, love it. What's your favourite social media then?
My favourite social media?
Yeah.
What counts as a social media? I feel like there's something sort of transcend it, like, you know, a Discord. Does that count as a social media?
I was about to say you'd love Discord.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Love it.
Yep.
I don't know. Instagram, maybe? It's so, like, passive.
I'm definitely off of the social medias. Like, Twitter, I check a lot and read shit. I'm really minimally on Instagram anymore, and I don't use anything else but those two. Like, I don't have... Like, I don't... Facebook, I don't have Facebook on my phone. I haven't had Facebook, the app, or Snapchat on my phone for probably 4 years now.
Yeah.
Like, and... now I've just deleted the Discord app off my phone. I'm like, well, I don't need that. And I'm just checking less and less things, and it's made me check Twitter and Instagram less and less. And I'm like, wow, I actually really enjoy my life a lot more with way less social media. With way less social media. I definitely feel like I'm spending a lot more time with myself while I'm actually alone, and it's actually healthy.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Which is nice.
Yeah. The less social media, the better. And I think, like, for me, I mean, I don't use Instagram much. I haven't used Snapchat in years. I don't go on Facebook. Obviously, I don't use Discord anymore, except for like, you know, things, I don't know, like groups or like when I stream 14 or whatever. But Twitter is the only one I actually use consistently, and I hate it. And I literally have my mentions turned so I can't see any mentions from unless I'm following someone. Because I just want to, like, if I want to interact with someone, it's going to be someone that I know. I don't really want to interact with random people I don't know, because most of the time they're awful people. So
that's a terrible way to look at the world, James.
It's the worst. And
when you're not open to new people, it's like, oh, if I don't know you, fuck you.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, obviously, like, you know, in real life, or if I'm in the same space, I guess it's just like these, you know, random fucking Twitter people that are just like not real people. You know, it's like, I don't need you to tell me like what to do, which is what people like to do, and it's fucking annoying. So I'd rather just block them off from me. But I'll see what people are saying. Like if I post a tweet, I'll check back in like a few hours and I'll just click on it and read through the replies. But it just means I don't have them directly in my mentions. Like if I go into mentions, I know it's going to be only people that I give a shit about, which is just, you know, it's just nicer.
Yeah. No. And that makes sense. Okay, I think the joke's gone on long enough, wouldn't you say, James?
Yep.
Yeah, we should probably get into the I don't know, the maybe biggest news all time in the history of this podcast. Biggest news all time, would you say?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know, would you say that? Where would you rank this in terms of the news?
I don't. Let's say it is. Yeah, this is the biggest piece of news of all time. The biggest piece of news in my life and your life as well.
And my life as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is, especially with what we talk about regularly, like on this show. Like we're a video, like as always, overall. Like obviously we talk movies and TV shows, but video games is the main thing. So I feel like that then elevates it, and this is particularly one I feel like you have an affinity with as well.
Okay.
So it means a lot. That the biggest video game movie opening weekend all time happened with Sonic Movie 2. And I don't like that. I don't necessarily like that, but it
no,
is
I'm with you. This actually is probably the biggest piece of information, like news in my life.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I'm with you on that assumption.
Yeah, and that's when you look at the list of like video game movies and how they've done at the box office, they don't usually do too well. Video game movies and success aren't usually used in the same sentence.
Not at all.
But then you look at Sonic 2, and here we have... And also, Sonic 1 was number 1 with 58 million in its opening weekend. And now Sonic 2 has 71 million. And number 3 is Detective Pikachu, which has really only made money because of Ryan Reynolds, not because it's a Pokemon movie. Then you got Tomb Raider and then Uncharted. Like, do you know what I love about it? Prince of Persia's in the top 10 and Assassin's Creed's not. That makes me very happy.
That is good. I like that.
That makes me very happy. But Sonic 2, how do you feel knowing that the top 2 highest grossing video game movies of all time are Sonic movies?
I'm so fucking happy about that. That's the greatest thing. I mean, Sonic, you know, is one of the original video games. When you look at like what kickstarted the home console, like, you know, I guess era of video games. You know, back in the early 90s, you got Mario and you got Sonic with Nintendo and Sega. So I think it's very fitting.
We have Mario and Sonic.
You
don't have Mario and Sonic. That we know. That we know. We know that.
I can't do this again.
James, we've been doing it for 8 years. We're still doing it.
Very true. But yeah, I mean, they were the 2 titans of video games. It makes sense to me that Sonic is at the top, and obviously Mario's got a movie coming out soon with Chris Pratt as the voice. Will it beat Sonic? Who knows? Let's find out.
I think it'll beat Sonic 1. I don't think it's going to beat Sonic 2.
Yeah, I think probably.
Yeah.
I think probably. Because, I mean, you know, it's a big name. So I think that alone will probably be able to elevate a bit more. Because Sonic's not as big as Sonic was in the 90s. It's, you know, there's a bit of a resurgence here, I think, given how well the movies are doing. But not as big as it was. And I think Mario probably still is. So,
yeah,
we'll see. But it'll be cool to see that competition again between, Nintendo and Sega, like the good old days from before I was born.
But on screen.
And then they could do a crossover film where you have the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. It'll be amazing. I can't wait. It'll be the first movie to ever sell 1 trillion tickets.
1 trillion tickets, you say?
I'm fairly confident.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 trillion tickets goes to the Sonic Mario movie crossover. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Nothing but sense.
Nothing but sense. Okay, I literally have nothing else to.
I have a topic for you, actually.
Do you? Tell me a topic.
Wait, did I bring this up on the last podcast? The post-credit scene for Morbius. Have we spoken about that before?
Yeah, haven't we? Have we? I don't know.
I can't remember whether it was whether we talked about this before. Have you seen it? Or not the movie, but have you seen the post-credit scene?
Definitely not. No. Why would I do that to myself?
Well, the post-credit scene.
I know spoilers, it had. I heard it had Michael Keaton in it.
It did, yeah. Michael Keaton flies down. The Vulture flies down in the middle of a field to come see Morbius, and the dialogue is him saying, "I don't know how I got to this world, but I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. Let's team up, and we can kill him," or something like that.
Do you think they're trying to set up the Amazing Spider-Man 3? Because we know
maybe
it's the same Venom universe. We know that can't be Tobey's universe. We know it's not Tom's universe. So it's either a new Spider-Man or it's Andrew Garfield's universe.
I think maybe. I think they're leaving it open because I think they probably want to talk to Andrew Garfield, but I think they're going to go forward with this no matter what they do, and they're obviously setting up a Sinister Six.
I think Andrew should tell him to go fuck himself.
I think he should too, because there's no way he should let himself be in a shit film again.
Yeah, no, he's literally he was just in the best Spider-Man film of all time and was the standout in the movie. Leave it there. Leave it with everyone thinking you're the best and wanting more. Leave them wanting more. Yeah. Don't actually give them more because that'll ruin everything. It always does because people always are like, no, we want more. Oh my God, they're begging. It becomes this big social media thing and then we get it and everyone's like, well, that was shit. And I'm like, at what point can we just enjoy something for what it is and move the fuck on from it?
Yeah, it's weird because people, like, I feel wanting more is a good thing, but don't actually ever give us more because what happens is you get people on social media that are like, oh my God, that was so good. I really want to see it again. Like, I want to see more of it. And then when these studios give in and they give more, they just give more and more and more until it's just completely ruined the thing in the first place. And it's like, what was the point in any of that? You could have left it where it was like absolutely incredible and we'll remember it for the rest of our lives as being something fantastic. But if you keep giving us more and more and more, it's just going to sour the whole thing. There's just no need. I don't need it. It wouldn't be good anyway. I mean, Morbius was a fucking failure. Apparently I haven't seen it, but, you can imagine.
Yeah, I can. I just saw... I'm sorry. I was just on Twitter. And I've literally seen the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh, God.
Hang on, I'll oh, my God. Okay. I'm going to send you the link to this tweet. It's just the worst thing I've ever seen. It's a MCU edit.
Oh, God, okay.
It's like a fan fiction edit. Why is this on my timeline?
Okay, let's have a look.
It's become a bit of a thing. Wanda and Peter Parker edits, like they've somehow become the most popularized. Like, why has Elizabeth Olsen become the most popular actress all time on Twitter? She just has like a cult fan following after WandaVision.
She does. People love her.
Yeah.
Okay,
people are going to be so mad when she's the villain in Doctor Strange. People are going to lose their minds.
They're going to be. I mean,
she's 100% the villain of Doctor Strange.
If these MCU Twitter stans were upset with Endgame because Tony Stark dies, they're going to be so upset when Wanda's the villain.
And she's going to be like really evil. And they're going to be like, she's the hero. She's the hero. She's the impressed woman. And it's like, she's going to kill innocent people and you guys are going to defend it because you're insane. And you're unhinged. You're unhinged.
They are unhinged. MCU Twitter stands are fucking unhinged.
Like, you need to actually... Like, I think if I ever saw a Twitter MCU stand, I'd be like, you've never seen the sun in your life. Like, you've never seen it.
Yeah, for sure.
You would literally... dissolve in the sun. Like the Thanos snap. You just fade away into dust.
It's concerning the way some of these people think. Like, they can't think in terms of it being like a piece of creative media. They think of it in terms of like, it's real. And they're like, I can't believe they killed Tony Stark. Like, can they not, like, understand that, like, someone wrote this and it's a piece of writing and it works well because it makes you feel things like that? It makes it a good thing. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. These people are fucking insane. All right.
Have you seen this edit?
I'm gonna read it. So we've got Peter and Wanda, and they're like in his school gym or whatever. So we've got Peter says, "You know what's beautiful? Say the first word again." And then Wanda says, "The first word." And then Peter says, "Yeah, say it." And then Wanda says, "It." And then Peter says, "OMG, Wanda, I'm just trying to be cute." And then Wanda says, "Sorry, dear, but you're already cute." Why? Who made this?
Like, seeing it and reading it, I was like, this... It hurt my soul. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. I hate it. It's like the pictures that go along with it as well. Like, I just hate that they've like they've picked these... Oh god, I hate it. Like, they had to go through and pick the right frames from films. Like, look at the top reply. The person who posted the top reply.
Oh god, it's another one.
Just as bad. It's just as bad.
It's another one. Here we go. Peter goes, "What's your name?" Wanda says, "Mary." Peter says, "And your last name?" Wanda says, "Me." Peter says, "Marry me?" Wanda says, "Yes, I would love to." Oh god. Why? Oh, I hate it. I'm saving them so we can make sure Josh has them, unless you've already done that.
My favourite's when people use edits and they're not even from the MCU movies. Like, they're just the actors from other movies. There's so many bad ones here. There's so many bad ones here. It's so unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know. Jamie Burns retweeted it. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, of course. That's amazing.
I was like, how did I see that on my timeline? Yeah. And not that he's like a fan of it, because the person posted, "We live in a society where this edit exists," and it's like pointing out how retarded the edit is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway. What was the topic you brought up? Were you like, I have a topic?
Morbius.
Oh yeah, Morbius. Yeah, I mean, I assume they're wanting to push for an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, they've clearly set up a Sinister Six. Literally, like, the quote, like, it's the worst fucking dialogue I've ever heard. Like, it's like it was written by a child. Like, Michael Keaton is standing there and he's like, "Oh, I don't know how I got here, but I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. Do you want to team up? I know some guys. Like, we can make a team." And like, that's it. That's the scene. And Morbius is like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's make a team."
Yeah, Morbius is in the top 4 lowest rated and Marvel movies of all time.
Man,
number 1 being Fan 4 Stick at 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think Morbius is like 14%. Makes me so happy. Makes me so happy that Jared Leto's in a terrible movie, because I don't like Jared Leto.
I fucking hate the fucking... Like, when you go on Rotten Tomatoes and you look at, like, the audience score for things, it's always so fucking skewed. Like, the critic review is 16% because it's a shit film. but the audience review is 70%. Like, who is watching this and loving it?
Well, it's because the only people that watched the movie, and we know that by the box office numbers and money it made, the only people that watched it are people that love Jared Leto. Because he has a cult following. He does have that. He does. There's no two ways about it. There's no two ways about it. He does have a cult following, and those are the people that saw it. Like, I've seen Morbius Twitter. I've snuck into Morbius Twitter at one point. It's sort of an accident. Someone put on a tweet going, like, seeing Morbius for the second time, so excited. And then this, like, most of the replies are obviously like, what the fuck are you doing that for? But then you keep going down, there's people like, oh my god, yeah, I've seen it 3 times, I loved it. And then, like, there's like a Morbius Discord, and like Jared Leto showed up to a screening for the people from the Discord. And I'm like, this is just weird. This is just so bizarre.
I tell you what I do like about Morbius, though, is the amount of memes. There's, like, this whole group of people that have just, like, memed on the movie as if it's, like, the greatest movie of all time, and I really do like it. I like this particular edit where you've got Morbius badly photoshopped onto the list of highest-grossing films, and Morbius is number 1.
I do like that, too.
$350 trillion.
Yeah, I like that, too. Yeah,
like
I've seen some of those. I like those. Those are funny. Those are funny memes, yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, look, Morbius, obviously terrible movie. I would rather, you know, I'm going to say it. I would rather watch Zack Snyder's Justice League than watch Morbius.
I would too. I think I would too, yeah.
You know what? I'm on Eddie and Sheps' team for this one. I would rather watch any of the DC EU movies than watch Morbius. Any of them?
I think I'll
say any of them. Any of them. For sure.
I'd watch any of them. I don't even know what any of them consists of, but I would watch any of them over this.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I would say any of them, top of my head.
Would you rather watch Shazam than Morbius?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I heard Shazam was okay.
I heard it was okay too, but I kind of feel like I don't like... Because I feel like it's one of those movies where, like, yeah, it's probably alright, but I don't want to watch something that's probably alright, you know? I feel like it'd be like watching the Eternals again.
Yeah, but you're going to watch a lot of things in your life that are just sort of alright. That will happen.
Yeah,
that will happen to you.
But I feel like that Morbius it'll at least be, like, funny, because, like, of the memes. Like, I can see Jared Leto as Morbius, and, like, it'll be a bit funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really... Yeah, I don't think... I'm not like that. I don't think I can watch movies for the meme. I can't do it.
No, well, I mean, I wouldn't want to.
The only one we've done is when we watched the Assassin's Creed movie Drunk, but that was for content.
That was so funny.
But that was for the meme.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. That was a great time. That was funny. That was funny, to be fair. Yeah, no to Morbius. What would... I'm trying to think of what's the worst movie I would... Would I rather watch Morbius? Is there a movie I would rather watch? Is there a movie that would make me watch Morbius? I'd watch Morbius
because you'd rather watch Morbius.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of one.
I'm trying to think of, like, bad films. I mean, like, honestly, like, obviously Zack Snyder's Justice League is, like, I mean, I would say it's better than Batman vs Superman, right? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I've not
if you
seen...
had to, like...
I haven't seen a scene from either of those films.
Right. Well, I mean, I've tried to
I've seen, like, I've seen maybe... I've seen shots, sections of scenes. Like, because I know how, like... I know how bad the CGI in these films are. Like, worst all time.
Because you've obviously got, like, Batman vs Superman, then you've got the extended cut. What about Batman vs Superman, the extended cut? Would you rather watch Morbius?
No. I'd rather watch Batman vs Superman, the extended cut. Because I at least like Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill as actors.
Yeah, true.
Like, that's just for that reason alone, I'm like, I respect Henry Cavill. I respect Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
as actors.
I would even watch them on my screen. It would be, you know, visually pleasing.
Whereas, like, you're making me watch an actor I actually despise in a film I despise. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm trying to think of... I can't think of a... can't think of a movie.
X-Men Dark Phoenix.
I'll take X-Men. Is Hugh Jackman in that one? No, he's not.
No. Absolutely not. It's all about Sophie Turner.
I don't like nor dislike Sophie Turner.
No, me neither, but she's not very good in the X-Men.
No. I'll take X-Men. And I don't really like X-Men. I'm not an X-Men guy. Never really been a fan of the X-Men movies. I like a couple of those movies. I like the first X-Men movie. I liked Logan. That's about it. Those two. Days of Future Past, I remember being pretty alright.
What about Fast and Furious 9?
Okay, that's a great one. I was about to say, there's not a lot of movies I despise more than the Fast and Furious films, because they are worse films.
Specifically 9.
It's the worst blockbuster franchise ever made, I would say.
That's untrue.
I'd go as far as to say that. I'd say that's pretty obvious. I'd rather watch the DCEU than watch the Fast and Furious franchise, because it's just so awful.
That's
and it's full of
unfair.
It's full of a bunch of losers like Vin Diesel. Bunch of fucking beaters.
Okay. So
I like Paul Walker, to be fair. R.I.P. I always liked Paul Walker.
Paul Walker was
Vin
a great
Diesel's
guy.
a fucking beater. He's a fucking bitch.
So would you rather watch Morbius or Fast and Furious 9?
That's actually a hard one. Who's in? Do we have? Is the Fast and Furious 9 the newest one that just came out?
Yeah, I think so.
Is
cast? Let's have a look. Who's in it? We've got Tyrese Gibson's in it.
I don't like Tyrese. Is what? No, I don't mind.
He's also in Morbius. No. He's in Morbius as well.
I don't. Tyrese is one I don't like. Ludacris is okay. I don't like Tyrese. I like John Cena.
John Cena is such a weird I don't know.
Doesn't he play Vin Diesel's brother?
He does play Vin Diesel's brother.
Funny.
Yeah,
so funny.
They gave him a tan, like they spray tanned him, like
did they really?
So that he looks more like Vin Diesel. Yeah, which is great.
I like John Cena a lot. I grew up with John Cena.
You grew up with him. He was in your neighborhood.
Well, I grew up with as a pro wrestling fan, and John Cena was.
You grew up as a pro wrestler. That's impressive.
I said fan. I specifically said fan. I very specifically said fan. Look, just for the respect for John Cena, Jason Statham's in it. There's no Rock. That's a bit disappointing.
The Rock's not in it. Wow.
Which I don't really care, because I can go with or without the Rock in a movie. Love The Rock, the character from pro wrestling, but in movies, it's hit or miss. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Fast and Furious 9. And I fucking hate Fast and Furious, but I'll go with Fast and Furious 9 over Morbius.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think.
That's. I don't know where we can go from there. Is there? It might be the worst movie for me of all time, in the sense of I would never watch it. There's no movie that I would watch it before.
What about Transformers: The Last Night?
Oh, that's bad. Who's in that?
I don't know. Fucking Mark Wahlberg is in it.
Oh, I love Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I love Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, Marky Marks, dude. 100%. I don't need anyone else in it.
Damn it. I should have picked one without Mark Wahlberg.
Turturro's in it. Tyrese Gibson's also in it.
Stop it!
Tyrese Gibson, is he the worst actor all time? I think he might be.
I only know him from Fast and Furious. I don't know what else he's been in.
John Goodman's in it? Dude, that's a cast and a half. Stanley Tucci's in it. Yeah, definitely Transformers: The Last Night, just on the cast alone. Anthony Hopkins is in it. Anthony Hopkins, what are we doing? What a great cast. Other than
I might see this film now, you know? I might have to give it a watch. Oh, it's got less of a percent on Rotten Tomatoes, though. It's 15% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I still choose Transformers: The Last Night. I've got the trailer on. Man, this CGI is awful. This came out in 2017.
It did.
This is some of the worst CGI. It's worse than the earlier movies. There's
the first movie had 6 CGI. I think it holds up.
Yeah, whereas this movie is like, there's like a T-Rex transformer, and Mark Wahlberg's like yelling at it. The CGI's awful in this. Yeah. It's, why did they get rid of Shia LaBeouf in Transformers again?
Because I remember didn't want to do them anymore.
Yeah, because I didn't mind the earlier Transformers. Just don't watch them all together.
Yeah, you watch them separately.
Because like that's what I would watch them once, and then you'd wait years. You'd watch the next movie and be like, oh, they were all really good. And then you realize their stories totally contradict each other, and you don't realize that unless you watch them all at once.
Yeah.
Man, this does look bad. This Transformers movie.
Apparently, Shia LaBeouf didn't return because he felt that Sam Witwicky's story was over after. That's
a man. That's a man that knows when to end it.
Yeah, he knew.
Yeah. Love Shia LaBeouf. Man, this movie looks awful. I will say that. This movie looks really bad, this Transformers movie. Man, this is fighting for the position of may watch before Morbius, to be honest. This looks really, really, really bad.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
It might be solely on which is the shorter movie. Like, which is like what has the less runtime.
Transformers is longer.
What is the runtime? It made $600 million still. That's insane.
Okay, so it's 2 hours 34 minutes.
That's so long, dude. That's
Morbius
so
is
long.
only an hour and 48, so it's almost an hour shorter. Morbius would be over in just an hour 48. You could get a McFlurry.
Yeah, you know what? We found it. I'd watch Morbius before I'd watch Transformers the last night, because that trailer might have been the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Perfect.
Like, and it's purely like I'd equally put them as bad, just from what I've seen. But I've just purely on runtime, 45 minutes less is Morbius. That's a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna pick. That's the movie. Transformers: The Last Night is the last movie I would ever watch.
Amazing.
Confirmed. This is a great random topic.
Yeah, this was fun. I like.
What would you rather watch than Morbius?
Films that Tyler would rather watch Morbius than.
Yeah.
So far, we've only got Transformers.
I think there is only one.
The Last
Night. I don't think you could think of another one.
I'm trying to think of one, and I can't think of one.
Like a bad franchises?
It's be like, yeah, like just one of those, the one that's like well known, but is like, we all know it's. What about like a movie like? I don't know. I'm just looking at like pictures of bad films, like bad movie posters. I don't know.
Worst movies of all time?
Despicable Me 3.
List of films considered the worst on Wikipedia. Oh, these are all like... Oh, we're going 19th... Oh, they're in like decade order. Let's go down to the bottom. To the more up-to-date list. Fucking hell. Cats 2019.
Oh, yeah. That's a movie.
I'd watch Cats before Morbius. I don't know most of these movies.
Green Lantern. What about that movie?
Ryan Reynolds. You're
yeah,
100%. I love Ryan Reynolds. The movie's bad, obviously, but I'd definitely watch that. Jack and Jill starring Adam Sandler. Still watch that before I'd watch. I'd still watch that. I'd watch the last Airbender live action movie before I'd watch Morbius.
Oh my god!
And that's an awful movie.
I would definitely watch Morbius before I watch that again.
Would ya? Yeah.
Easily.
I wouldn't. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. That's how we.
Well,
yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Okay, James. Kingdom Hearts 4. I've said it. We're here. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts. This is the one. This is the topic we're here for. We're really meant to talk about. I've never why have I been? I don't know why I did what I did. I thought I'd do it once as a joke, and then it just kept going, and we've now been going almost an hour, and we have not talked about it.
It was fun. I liked it.
But this is the main topic of the day, last topic of the day, because we've really just been making shit up before it. Kingdom Hearts 4 has been announced.
That it has.
We've got a trailer.
We do.
We got a trailer for a bunch of things at the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversry.
Yeah.
James,
more
talk
importantly,
me through
let's
this.
talk about Dark Road.
Well, talk me through all of it. Because I haven't played any of Dark Road or any of the mobile games. I will not play any of Dark Road or any of the handheld games. Talk me through the 20th anniversary announcement, what we saw, what your thoughts are in general.
Well, in terms of Dark Road, obviously, I'm looking forward to it. I want to see where they take the story, how they wrap that up and tie it into...
What's it about? What are we tackling in Dark Road?
Dark Road is about... it's the origins of Xehanort, so where he came from, how he got from living on Destiny Islands to being a Keyblade master and then falling to the darkness, how he met the Master of Masters, his conflict with Ericus, all of that stuff is sort of tied up in Dark Road, and they've because they cancelled the game so they could move on to other things, but they're doing one final big update to round everything off rather than drawing it out, which is great, so that's good. So that's going to be wrapped up in Dark Road, and that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. It's not something where I'm super excited for it. Dark Road was never as good as Union Cross. It was always just I'm interested to see what they do with the Xehanort's story, but I can find out at any time. It's whatever. I'm not super excited or anything. But I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes and how it, seeing what they do there. So that'll be fun. But the other mobile game that we got announced was Missing Link, which is a sequel to Union Cross. It takes place after the ending of Union Cross, in the old, ancient version of Scarlet Asylum, which is what we see right at the very end of Union Cross's ending. And it's basically set during that period. We don't know a lot about it, but I believe, based on the trailer, it's going to actually link the ending of Union Cross to, the world that we see in modern Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep and whatnot.
So this is set between Union Cross and between modern Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's essentially like Missing Link, because it's the missing link between Union Cross and Dark Road. So between the ancient Keyblade War and the era of fairy tales and Scarlet Asylum when they were training Keyblade masters like Ericus and Xehanort when they were kids. So it seems like that's the story we're going to be following. We're going to find out more about Brain, who's a major character in Union Cross, who ended up in Scala at the end of that. Also, Sigurd is a major character that was in at the end of Union Cross.
Who?
Sigurd, from Norse mythology.
Okay, I'm going to leave now. Thank you for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, we're in the Norse arc now of Kingdom Hearts.
I never want to hear a Norse name again.
Well, then don't ever touch Dark Road, because they're all Norse. Odin is the master Keyblade wielder in Scala.
Is he actually?
He is, yeah.
Oh,
he actually is. I never even thought about it until right now. But that is that. Sigurd, who's the character that greets Brain when he awakes in Scala at the end of Union Cross, is the narrator for the Missing Link trailer, but he's also the narrator for the KH4 trailer as well. So, for whatever reason, Sigurd is narrating both. So it seems like he's going to be more of a major character that we'll find out more of as things go on, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And that's all cool, and I'm looking forward to the mobile stuff, because I was really into Union Cross, and I can play with, Jamie and Jas, and we can just sort of have a laugh. It's good fun. But, obviously, the big, most important thing was the big announcement for Kingdom Hearts 4, in which we get a look at, it running on Unreal with these, new visuals that represent Quadratum, now that Sora's there. We get to see what's going on. We get to look at Strelitzia. Get to see a little bit of, gameplay there. Some of the similarities to Versus 13. And obviously a little look at Donald and Goofy as well, showing that the classic KH art style is still there. They're not changing everything. It's just because of the world that he's in. And
Nomura said that Quadratum here is a different Quadratum from the world that never was.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's not the same.
But that's not even... What are you talking about?
Sorry, the city. What's the city they're in?
Quadratum.
Quadratum's the what? No, Quadratum's the what?
Quadratum's the name of the city. Oh, I know what you're talking about. No. Okay,
Yeah,
so Nomura said so Quadratum seems to be based around different parts of... We've only seen Shibuya and Shinjuku. Because you've got... Yeah, so you got Shibuya and Shinjuku, which are two different wards of Tokyo. And he was saying that the Shibuya that we see in the KH4 trailer, or that is part of Quadratum, isn't the same Shibuya from another Square Enix game, The World Ends With You, which is what people were speculating.
What's the world that never was? The world ends with you, yeah.
Because the
I don't know
World
anything.
Ends With You
Why am I even here? Why the fuck am I even here?
The World Ends With You characters were in Dream Drop Distance, and people were like, oh, well, maybe Sora's going to meet up with them, but Nomura's just confirming, no, it's a different version of Shibuya. It's not the same from that game. It's Kingdom Hearts' separate own one. He's not crossing over the games or whatever. Which is... Yeah... So that's that. I mean, there's a lot going on in this trailer. It's so many things, and like everything sort of comes together, and like it's very, very interesting. Because obviously, like, we see Quadratum for the first time. I mean, we see Quadratum a few times throughout KH3, like in the Verum Rex trailer, in the Remind secret ending, in the secret ending of KH3 when Riku's like you see Riku's dreams of Quadratum and everything. Yeah. And then obviously we're seeing this different like look at Quadratum now in KH4, with Sora waking up there, and it looks very much reminiscent of just the real world, which leads a lot of people to believe there's a theory that there's two different versions of Quadratum. There's like the dream version, which is the version that we've only seen so far, and then there's actual Quadratum, which is what we're seeing in the KH4 trailer, and there might be some sort of like mirroring and two different sort of dimensions of the same city that like sort of reflect each other, which could be a topic of like part of the story or whatever, but we don't really know.
Yeah.
So far, what did you think of the trailer as Tyler?
I mean, I was just like stunned that it was happening more than anything else. I was away over the weekend when it got released, and I was at a bar with my friends, and Josh, our editor of the show, I just see a message pop up on my phone going, Tyler, Kingdom Hearts 4 just got announced, and I was like, what? So I just jumped straight onto Twitter and just watched this trailer and was like, what? This can't be real. This can't be happening. Like, no fucking way.
It was crazy.
No fucking way. And then seeing, obviously it looked like the same engine and style and everything as Final Fantasy VII Remake, and seeing Sora in that light and being like, okay, this is where they're going with this. They're going... We talked about it for the last year plus, that we knew they were sort of going to go in this crazy direction with it. And it looks like we were right. You know? Like,
yeah, this... for sure.
Obviously, what I liked about it at the end was they still teased Disney stuff. And they're like, don't worry, like, we're going crazy, but it's still going to be Kingdom Hearts. You know, you see Donald and Goofy, and then Hades is there at the end.
Yeah, they're obviously in Olympus.
Yeah, which is, like, that's wild. I was hoping, like, because I watched your reaction to it, and I knew you'd get it, but I was hoping you'd get it in your reaction.
Yeah, I just didn't know. I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, my brain was
and I'm like, oh, fuck, he didn't know. Because it's hard to tell, because it's obviously in Japanese, but it still sort of sounded like the character, even though it was in like the inflections and stuff, and obviously the red to blue flame type, or the blue to red flame, I should say, type thing. So of course Olympus has to be in Kingdom Hearts 4 because it's in every fucking Kingdom Hearts game.
Exactly. Nomura fucking loves Olympus.
He just loves it. Loves it. And I hope they bring Phil back, but don't have him say a line at all. Still makes me so angry. That made me furious in Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, don't have him. Because he's the most talkative character ever. So if he's in a room and he doesn't say anything, it's not... It's
weird.
Dumb.
It's weird.
It's so jarring. So jarring. But yeah, no, I loved it. I thought just seeing, a bit of that gameplay and the art style and it feeling like they're going full Final Fantasy, but also diving deep into the direction we saw them going in after Kingdom Hearts 3 and with Remind, and go deeper and exploring this of like the consequences to Sora died. You know what I mean? There's consequences to that. Like, don't just have him like, oh, he's back. It's like, no, we're him dying doesn't have to be, okay, he's died. It's actually, we're going to now explore this whole other side of things of what happens after you die within this universe, which isn't just, oh, you die and that's it. It's, you go to this world, and what does that mean?
Yeah. I really like the whole concept of the Quadratum and this unreality, and like, when Sora dies, he ends up in this world that's just void of Disney's magic. Like, none of that exists here. Like, he's just in the real world. Like, well, I like that sort of symbolism. I think it's quite fun for Kingdom Hearts, because their real world is, full of magic and full of light, and like it's all this like, it's all cartoony and fun and shit. But once Sora dies, he just ends up in fucking normal Tokyo, where there's no magic. Everyone's wearing fucking suits and drinking coffee and going to their job or whatever. And it's just this sort of like nice little juxtaposition. I think it's quite interesting, and it's going to be fun to see how they explore that.
Who do we think the character is that knocks on his door in the trailer?
That's Strelitzia.
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, well...
Why are the characters... I don't know. I've played all the games. Why are the fucking characters...
I love Kingdom Hearts so much.
It's so annoying. I've played all the side other than, like, the mobile
I love
game.
it. It's amazing.
It's so fucking annoying.
So...
Like, how do I not know this person?
Strelitzia is Laurium's sister. And Laurium is Marluxia's somebody. He lived in the time of the
Marluxia's somebody, okay.
Yes, yeah. And Strelitzia is his sister. She was one of the
And do we know that from
Dandelions.
Union Cross? Is that Union Cross?
Yes, it's in Union Cross, yeah. She was killed by darkness. That's this entity that exists in that period of time. And she died, but obviously now she's shown up in Quadratum, so she's ended up in the same place Sora does, which she like describes as an afterworld. So it's interesting that so you don't even have to use the power of waking to end up there. It's just literally is like death just takes you there. So that's quite interesting. And
is that so?
Play a major role.
Are we thinking that's where your Zora is too? Like your Zora's a character that's dead essentially.
I don't know, because I think Yozora comes from Quadratum, but I think because he only speaks to Sora in the version of Quadratum that we see in the KH Remind secret ending, and I think that's the dream version of Quadratum, where Yozora has this access to magic and this technology, and like he's able to fight Sora, but then you see him wake up, and he wakes up in what's probably the real world, where he doesn't have any magic and he's not special. And then he says like the line that Sora says from KH1, like, I've been having these weird thoughts lately, like, is any of this for real or not?
Yeah, dude, that's so fucking weird.
I do think Yozora lives in Quadratum, but I think the version of Yozora we've seen is not like the actual Yozora from Quadratum. I think it's like the dream version or whatever.
Yep.
Only in Kingdom Hearts would we be talking about it like this.
Yeah. No, it makes sense to me, though. That makes sense.
Yeah. I do think there's a lot more to this than what we've seen. I think that they'll probably delve into, and I think there's probably a lot more depth and, more sides to it and whatnot. But I suppose we'll find out.
Do we think we're going in between Disney Worlds as per usual?
I don't know, I mean, they said in the little like press release that I got, and obviously everyone got, but in the email from Square Enix that said it described Quadratum as a large sprawling city that's larger than anything we've seen before in Kingdom Hearts. And it almost sounds like open world. Like, I don't want to jump the gun and say that's what they're doing.
No way.
But when I read that, I was like, that's an interesting way of phrasing it, because it almost does sound like Quadratum is... Maybe Quadratum is a large hub space from which you launch into other areas. But
yeah, that makes sense.
It's interesting that they talked about it in that way. I mean, we see, like, there's been obviously some speculation and people picking up things in the trailers. We see the little forest area, and there's a shot where in the corner you see a little metal thing, and it looks very, very similar to the foot of an AT-ST from Star Wars.
No fucking way.
Interesting. But it looks very similar. Like, I can't really even argue against it. I'm like, that does just look like an AT-ST.
I haven't seen that.
Let me find you the link. Because it looks...
I mean, it makes sense that Star Wars... They did Pirates of the Caribbean really well in Kingdom Hearts 3.
They did.
Compared to how they butchered it in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah. Let me try find this link and I'll show you it. It's interesting.
I'll tell you what, I don't want to see. Marvel kill me. I don't want to see that.
I feel like, how would you do Marvel in Kingdom Hearts? I feel like it's a bit more difficult than Star Wars.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let me send you this on Skype.
A lightsaber keyblade is kind of fucking cool. Okay, let's have a look.
There you go. Have a look at that.
There ain't no fucking way.
It looks very similar.
Oh, dude, that does.
It's got like the same markings and like the same little like beveled bits on it and stuff.
What?
I know. It's weird.
Let me check the trailer. I need to watch the trailer for this.
It's weird. I'm like, how could that be anything else?
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't know how it could be anything else either.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Well, the trailer... I'm trying to watch the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, but the trailer for The Northman, only in cinemas April 21, is before it, because I love Norse stuff.
Oh, I love Norse stuff. So excited.
So, okay. So, we should also mention before the start of the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, the line, the Lost Master arc.
Which is, I guess, what they're calling
is
this.
Is Sora the Lost Master? Is that what they're referring to?
I mean, it's possible. It's possible they're referring to Sora as the Lost Master, the Master of Masters as the Lost Master. Maybe the one foreteller that never showed up in the KH3 secret ending is a Lost Master. They don't know where they've gone. It's possible, like, it could refer to any of them.
Dude, it really looks like... hang on. Am I wrong in saying... I'm just looking at... I haven't really spent a lot of time breaking this down at all. But I'm just looking at... let me send you this picture. Are those symbols, like, familiar to you? That are on that... Like, there's like a pillar and it looks like similar symbols to like nobody's symbols and things like that.
They are like some symbols on there. That is interesting, actually. I assume that's not actually there in Tokyo, right? Like, you'd think.
And then, so what do we think this is? This big shadow that comes up, the classic big shadow man from Kingdom Hearts. New design looks cool. Is it Heartless or do you think it's Darkness?
I mean, it's difficult to say. I mean, whether that is just a dark side Heartless that we've seen time and time again in a realistic form, which it very well could be. But it also looks to me like I think what we're seeing in the trailer is the first time that Darkness ever reached Quadratum. I think it's the first time that that's ever happened. Because we learned in like Union Cross that the Master knows about Quadratum, the Master of Masters, but Darkness, the entity, doesn't actually know that it exists. So this could be the very first time ever that Darkness has entered this world. And I think it could have found its way through because Sora's there, because he's a Keyblade wielder, like, you know, Leon says in KH1, like, the Heartless can find Sora because they're tracking him through his Keyblade. So it could be that Darkness has found its way into this world finally, because Sora's there, and obviously they can track him. So, and then it's like manifesting in what really does look like it resembles a Dark Side Heartless, like from, you know, the start of KH1 that we're familiar with.
Yeah. Now, in the Star Wars, because they show a bit of that, like, obviously, Forest Landscape, this is Return of the Jedi.
It looks like Endor. It looks like it very well could be Endor.
It has to be, like, because if you're going to pick a period to do a Star Wars world, you'd have to be Return of the Jedi, because you'd want it to be Luke, Han, and Leia. You don't want to have... Yeah, that's Return of the Jedi, dude. That's definitely Endor.
It looks like Endor. It looks like an AT-ST4. I cannot see it being anything else.
Yeah.
In which case, it looks like this game could be an opportunity that maybe they get to explore unconventional Disney properties such as Star Wars, in which we could see them go and do, some other stuff like that potentially.
Yeah, the heart resides within the soul, which in turn is guided by fate to its rightful place. The choice is yours once more, is the lines that come up right before Sora is sort of shown. And we see once again as well that like sort of chess type board where there's we saw at the end...
KH3, yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of Remind... Was it Remind or was it the end of KH3 when, like...
It was the end of KH3, yeah.
They're like, let's play a new game, but it's only got one light.
Yeah, it's this. It's
so
the
we're referring to
darknesses and the one light, which is Sora there alone in the center of the board, which is pretty representative of where he is now in Quadratum, sort of on his own.
Yeah. What do we think of his design? Where it's like straight out... You could pop him in a Final Fantasy VII remake with the boys.
I love it. I think it's so cool.
It's grown on me. It's definitely grown on me. You see his feet, that's weird.
That is weird. Super weird.
You've got this random woman that somehow I don't know, even though I played every Kingdom Hearts game. Thank you so much. So annoying. It annoys me so much. Like, how much time do I need to dedicate to this fucking franchise? And there's still these characters like, they're important. I'm like, how do I not know the fuck they are?
Oh, it's amazing.
If this was like Assassin's Creed, I'd be so angry at it. But because it's Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, it's fine. It can do it. It's no problem.
I think the good thing about it, though, is that Sora has no idea who Strelitzia is, so he's going to have to learn. So if you've not played these side games, you don't have to know, because Sora doesn't know. So it's not like Sora knows and you don't know, so I'm sure the game will explain itself.
But that's like saying, like, yeah, I know, I feel like you could still compare it and be like, this is bullshit.
I mean, you definitely can. Like, it's perfectly reasonable to think it's bullshit. Because in any other game franchise, I would 100% be saying that. But in Kingdom Hearts, I just love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I know. It's so ridiculous. So Sora looks cool. Do we think this is where we finally see... Because obviously Kingdom Hearts 2, one of the major story points for fans was Cloud Sephiroth's battle. And they disappeared. My theory is they're in here because they both died in their fight. And they're still fighting here.
Yeah, see, I did think that originally, but now when you look at this trailer and it looks like this world has never had any of that magical stuff, I'm now thinking I'm not even sure about that now. I feel like that might not be the case. However, it depends, because obviously they've said Quadratum is the name of the city. Now, if Unreality functions the same as reality does in Kingdom Hearts, in which Radiant Garden is like, imagine Radiant Garden is the equivalent to a Quadratum in reality. You've obviously got, in reality, you've got, the realm of light, the realm of darkness, the realm of dreams. Then and like a world within that reality is Radiant Garden. Quadratum.
Oh, it's definitely a Heartless Shadow, by the way. It has the heart in the middle of it that's open chest.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, continue.
But then you've got, so like in Unreality is an entire separate opposite reality. Quadratum could very well be a world within that has yet to be connected to the other worlds that exist. And you never know. You could have, like, if we do visit Endor, for example, that could be a world within that, and it just took Sora getting there and the Heartless and the Darkness seeping into this reality to have those worlds be connected. Because the first time Destiny Islands is connected to the rest of the worlds is when it falls to darkness. It could be a similar situation where, Quadratum is a world and it gets connected to the other worlds, and maybe you do get to visit, Midgar or whatever else from Final Fantasy, Square Enix. Maybe Endor is a world. So maybe Unreality functions in a similar way to reality, where Quadratum is a world just like Radiant Garden or Destiny Islands, and there's other worlds out there too that get connected because Sora's shown up. So I think there's a possibility for that. But I don't think Sephiroth and Cloud are in Quadratum itself, because it just doesn't resemble what I would think would work for it.
Yeah, and what do they say in the trailer? If you do leave this world behind, don't expect to return to the one from which you came.
Yeah, and that's a point. So it's like if Sora leaves Quadratum, sure, he can leave the world, but he cannot get back to Radiant Garden, Destiny Islands, Twilight Town, because he's in a completely different reality.
Yeah.
And I think that would then lead the way for you to have like a bunch of different worlds that exist in this reality that's completely separate from the one we're familiar with.
Yeah, that isn't the fairy tale worlds. Mm-hmm. It's the other Disney properties and other Square Enix properties. And we see like two cloaked figures, the classic Kingdom Hearts, cloaks of fucking evil. Master of Masters, do you think he's here?
I would say so. I would say one of them is definitely the Master of Masters. The other one, Lushu, maybe, potentially.
Maybe. Because, Lushu's in the end of Kingdom Hearts 3.
He is, yeah. So I would say probably. I'd say it's probably the Master of Masters and Lushu.
But the Seven Darknesses here as well. That's what we've got to remember.
Yeah, which I would assume the Seven Darknesses, or I guess the 7 black pieces on the board would probably. I don't know. I guess originally, we thought it was like the Foretellers because there's 7 of them, including the Master of Masters and Lushu. It would make up 7, but then maybe it's darkness itself from Union Cross because there was like several entities of darkness, and there were only a few left over, so it could be that as well. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It is hard to say.
Very hard to say.
It's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. The logo. What do we think of the new design for the Kingdom Hearts 4 logo?
It's definitely grown on me. I didn't like it at first.
It's grown on me too. Yeah, no.
When I first saw it, I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But I'm looking at it now, and I'm like, that looks cool. I like the 4. New era. Yeah, I like the 4.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Like, it's close enough. It's a bit more serious.
Yeah, right? Like, I quite like that. I'm like, this is a new era. We're in a new era of Kingdom Hearts now, a new phase. It's quite cool to see they've switched up, but it still retains, similarity. Still got the heart in the background, still got the crown above the logo and stuff. Like, yeah, it's still Kingdom Hearts.
Now, we see Donald, Goofy. They're obviously looking for Sora. They're in Olympus or in the underworld. Why are they there? I wonder where he is. So they're looking for someone. I don't know, but I sure hope he can help.
I guess they're looking for Hades, right? I guess they're in the underworld. They're thinking, well, God of the underworld, Lord of the Dead.
Yeah.
Sora's dead. Maybe Hades can help us.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so maybe they get Hades to help out. Maybe Hades is like, oh, yeah, I don't know. Or maybe Hades does know something about it being the Lord of the Dead. Maybe he has an understanding of the unreality. Maybe he knows about it to an extent. And maybe he can give him some information. Who knows?
Yeah, that sort of makes sense, hey?
That sort of makes sense.
That's hectic, man. That is fucking hectic. Yeah, So obviously seeing Disney Worlds then, because we're going to follow things that Donald and Goofy do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to be seeing some other stuff as well.
Do Donald and Goofy end up companioning you in Kingdom Hearts 4 throughout the main portion of the game, yes or no?
Do they end up in Quadratum with you? I don't know.
Yeah, for the majority of the game, Donald and Goofy with Sora.
I want to say I don't want to ever see them step foot in Quadratum because I don't want to know what they would look like. Would they just look like a real dog and a real duck? That idea freaks me out a bit.
I agree with that. I agree with you. I don't want to see Sora reconnect with any of the characters from the main plot. Like, I want to see them throughout the game, like in cutscenes, but until the ending.
Yeah, I think Sora should be isolated for this game. I think it makes sense.
It should be something so different.
Yeah, and I think we need to see Sora go because Sora's power comes from his friends, and I want to see him not have that and have to
find
try
it within
and overcome
himself.
That.
Then find it within himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be an interesting arc to see Sora go on because for the most part, Sora's arc, he's not really had an arc. He's always been the central pillar of light that's there for everyone else. I'd like to see him go on his own arc where he has to overcome not having his friends for the first time. I think
it's
it
just
would
him
be
alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
I
a
think
lot
it'd
too.
be
And
quite
then
good.
in Kingdom Hearts 5, you can sort of combine that direction with the old direction in sort of one going forward. But like, I'm keen for that. Because it's sort of, because you've brought back all these fucking heroes that you sort of want to see and play as, and there's just such a big roster now. So it'd be almost cool to just cut them all off. I think the only person I want to see in Quadratum is Riku.
Yeah.
That's the only person. Maybe Kairi comes in at the end, right? But I think early in the game or middle of the game, Riku should be the only one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do we play as anyone other than Sora? Yes or no?
Maybe. I don't know. I think it could go either way. I think it could be just a Sora game, or there could be some other playable bits, like especially with like Riku showing up or whatever. If he does, it'd be kind of cool to play as him a little bit.
I think they'll do a classic opening playing as someone else. The same way the opening to Kingdom Hearts 3 really is you're playing as Aqua. Like that was supposed to be the opening.
True.
The same way you play as Roxas at the start of Kingdom Hearts 2, you play as Aqua at the start of Kingdom Hearts 3. I think there'll be something else.
I think it's possible for sure. Yeah.
Who would it be? I think it's either Riku or Yuzora. That's my early predictions.
I think it's possible. With Yuzora, my like ideal of what I want to see him do is, I think I've talked about this before, but I think this game should really explore him as this mysterious figure, and by the end of the game, we sort of come to know him. And then I would love to see a side game between KH4 and KH5 that lets us really delve into Yuzora's backstory from his perspective. Just have a whole Yuzora game that fills us all in on his details. We actually get to know him properly, and we're like, we feel like we know this character. And partly because I think it would be really cool story-wise, but also Yuzora's such a fucking cool character. I feel like just playing as him for a game would be so much fun. I feel like he's just such a cool character that it would be a missed opportunity. And Nomura said, or I don't know if it was Nomura or someone else that works on Kingdom Hearts, said that they sort of they were weighing up their options, like, do we want to do a Verum Rex or do we want to do Kingdom Hearts 4? And they decided to prioritize Kingdom Hearts 4 because it made the most sense for them, which does mean that there's potential for them to come back and do a Verum Rex game with Yuzora as the main character at some point. So I think it would make most sense after KH4, but before KH5, if Yuzora ends up being as integral as like they've set him up to be.
Yeah, what did you think of the artwork Nomura did for the 20th anniversary?
Yeah.
Really
cool. Yeah, really cool. Big fan.
Oh. Man, I can't believe we're here. I can't believe this is Kingdom Hearts 4.
I know.
Like, I made a tweet of like, I literally waited half my life. I waited 13 years just for the Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out, knowing that it's going to come out. And now I've seen Kingdom Hearts 4. That's
weird.
Just... It doesn't feel right.
I know.
It just doesn't feel right.
It's so crazy that we went from, waiting for KH3 for such a long time to, now it's here. KH is sort of back again. Like, it sort of felt like when I got into Kingdom Hearts, it wasn't relevant. Like, I got into Kingdom Hearts when it was sort of on a bit of a hiatus.
But you knew Kingdom Hearts 2 was coming out, like it had been announced.
Yeah, like it was.
I felt like you jumped in at the perfect time.
I think I did too. I think in terms of to get like quite an amount of enjoyment out of it, because I got to binge all of the games, be involved in the hype for KH3, and I didn't have to wait too long.
And you had 2.8 in between as well. You had 2.8 in between.
And 2.8, yeah, which was really cool. I played Dream Drop Distance for the first time. And 0.2, and then obviously like Union Cross and everything that I got really into by the time that all sort of ended. But now it feels like Kingdom Hearts is really sort of, they're doing a lot with it. It feels it's exciting to see where they're going with it. And obviously KH4 is their big thing, but you got Missing Link, whatever side games they decide to do in the future. And yeah, it's fun. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the future of Kingdom Hearts for sure.
Me too. And with that, that's all the topics today, James.
Wonderful.
Yeah, there wasn't really any other than Kingdom Hearts 4 we obviously wanted to talk about and dive into. And I'm sure on the Four Pillars podcast, we'll talk a bit about it to George as well, just to get his input. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode of the As Always podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. So much for watching. If you're here on the Four Pillars Network, please be sure to like the podcast and subscribe to the channel. Doing lots of great stuff on the network this year, and people are really enjoying it, which is great to see. And of course, James, thank you for joining me as always.
Yeah, it was good to be here with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And yeah, and at a time maybe that suits you better. The evening where you live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. And normally this would be fine for me. And for some reason I just feel very weirdly hungover when I haven't had a drink whatsoever.
Have you had a coffee? Oh yeah, you have. You said you want some.
I did. I brought a go out. That did help. It did help. I just sort of felt like really like, I felt very heavy. For some reason. And I got a lot of sleep, so I don't know what it is.
Maybe you got too much sleep.
No, I mean, I don't think 6 hours is too much.
No, it's not.
No, I got 6 hours sleep, which to me is like, should be fine. I can function off 6. 7's the ideal for me. If I get 7, I'm like, that's sweet.
I feel like
if I get
an
8
uneven number, though,
or any more than 8, it's probably too much. I'll probably be tired just from too much sleep. 7.5 is probably 7 to 7.5 is the ballpark of ideal sleep. But 6 is fine.
Right.
I can function fine off 6. That's no stress. Now, when it's like 3-4 hours, when we record podcasts late and I still have to get up early, that's upsetting. That's when I'm like, I'm going to really regret this tomorrow.
No.
But I'll tell you what you won't regret, ladies and gentlemen, heading over to patreon.com/as always. So if you like what you're listening to, seeing here, and you want to see more, head over to patreon.com/as always. For just $1 a month, you get exclusive access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, the Clubhouse podcast. It's the best podcast on the internet. We tell stories, you give us stories, advice, all that sort of shit. It's funny as fuck. Go check it out. It's awesome. There's like so many episodes you can stream whenever you'd like. So I would go and do that. Plus other cool perks, tiers, rewards, and to thank those people on the $5 tier and above, the credits tier that get read on the end of every podcast. We have Ollie the Spirit Ollie, Damien the Not So Orange Dome, Ferentino, Flash Paradox, Franco, Jasper Olsen, King Richard III, Albrecht, Ryan Hafer, Viridia, Ballsack 47, Aragon, Kim Asaba Gamma, Cream Pies, hashtag Make the Nice Guys 2, please, for the love of fuck Hollywood, Adam Sunling, Alfie Robert, Andy Kill, Big Dick 666999, Ben Higgins is thankful for his stick brethren, Benedict Clobbers, BFHC, Biggest Fucking Virgin, Bodge, PQ Overlord, The Elder, Brian Ford, Call Me Daddy, Christian 0210, Connor DeRose, Bully in the Alley, Dry Man, Gamer 101, Eli, Emil, Catborg, Redito Hacker, Ethan Dean, Fishy, Furious Coco, Jin, Give Me a Penis, Ginkgo Swag, Grand Theft 6, Gwen Hughes, Hooky, Jack DG, 1998, Jaden B, Bennett, Jake Ryan, Joe the Founded Scarab, Josh Duville, Josh J. Anderson, Joshua Mora, Kassassin, Kid, Ghostly, Liam, Luca, Lucas R05, Louis De Leon, Loomis Red, Murray 5380, Master Bass, Max H, Muddy Unicorn, Nick Miller, Otika World 7, our best and favourite mod, Brandy, Radok, Ravjai, Seth, Son of a Bitch, OG Dogger, So, James H. the Batman 2 because he kills people, Sparky Barks, The Blue Cow, Tony Walshy, and Zeppo. Thanks as we've that's what power this podcast, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you. Goodbye.
See you later, everybody.